Greetings, ghoulish geniuses and pumpkin spice posers. Are you ready for the ultimate Halloween trivia marathon? I doubt it. Ah, yes, Halloween. That magical time of year when you humans willingly dress like deranged psychopaths and offer candy to tiny strangers. Welcome to this monstrous epic marathon of macabre trivia madness, lovingly stitched together like Frankenstein's monster and just as unstable. It's your favorite alien overlord, Melvin, here to inject a syringe full of Halloween trivia straight into your underdeveloped frontal lobes. I've got 5 devilishly fun segments designed to test your spooky smarts while you wait for those sugar goblins to show up knocking on your door while pretending your porch isn't haunted by trivia disappointment. We'll kick things off nice and easy with a harmless, kid-friendly warm-up. Don't worry, no actual scares, just candy corn for your brain. Perfect for the little monsters before they get bored and run off to count their Snickers bars. Then we'll creep into the bubbling cauldron of Halloween history. Baffle your brain with spooky stats and weird Halloween facts. Conjure up some twisted tales from the dark woods of folklore. And finally, we'll end with a pop culture bloodbath that'll make even Freddy phone it in. Section 1. Let's ease into this nightmare with the kiddie pool of horror. No blood, no guts, just good, clean spookiness. For now. What do kids do on Halloween to get candy? Trick or treat. Is the pumpkin a fruit or a vegetable? Fruit. Who is this famous ghost? Casper the Friendly Ghost. What Halloween monster is wrapped in bandages? A mummy. What do you call a group of pumpkins growing together? A pumpkin patch. What are the bones in our body called? Skeleton. What is this villain's name from the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas? Oogie Boogie. What is a white pumpkin called around Halloween? A ghost pumpkin. What kind of seeds are commonly roasted as a snack during Halloween? Pumpkin seeds. How many seeds does the average pumpkin have? Around 500 seeds. What is the only mammal that can fly? A bat. What is another name for a witch's kettle or pot? A cauldron. Where is Count Dracula from? Transylvania. A 1984 song asked, "Who you gonna call?" What is the answer? Ghostbusters. What creature from folklore is said to steal children on Halloween if they misbehave? Boogeyman. What animals that are associated with witches are bad luck if one crosses your path? Black cats. Which Peanuts character believes in the Great Pumpkin in It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? Linus. Which Halloween candy was originally referred to as chicken feed? Candy corn. What does it mean if you spot a spider on Halloween? A loved one's spirit is watching over you. What phrase is commonly inscribed on tombstones used for Halloween decorations? R.I.P. Rest in peace. What supernatural creature, often associated with Halloween, can be killed with a silver bullet? A werewolf. Besides sucking human blood, what do bats and vampires have in common? They usually only come out at night. According to this Sheb Woolley song lyric, this fictional creature is a one-eyed, one-horned fly-and what? Purple people eater. In the Halloween movie Hocus Pocus, what do the Sanderson sisters need to become immortal? They need to suck the life force from children. According to Folklore, what are the 3 main ingredients of a witch's brew on Halloween night? The eye of a newt, the toe of a frog, and the wool of a bat. Well, wasn't that adorable? You survived the pumpkin patch of preschool-level spookiness. Don't get comfy. The training wheels are off, and the real weirdness is coming. Now we dig up the dusty past via Halloween history, because nothing says festive like centuries of weird traditions and bonfires fueled by human confusion. In which country did Halloween originate? Ireland. When did Halloween start? Around 600 AD, with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. What is another name for Halloween? All Hallows Eve. What is All Hallowtide? All Hallowtide is a 3-day religious observance. It includes Halloween, which comes first, followed by All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. What does hallow mean? To make sacred. During this time, lots of cultures honor the dead, good or bad, including saints and martyrs. How did bobbing for apples begin? Bobbing for apples originated in ancient Europe, evolving from a Roman courting ritual honoring Pomona, the goddess of fruit, and later merging with the Celtic festival Samhain. Before pumpkins, which root vegetables did the Irish and Scottish carve on Halloween? Turnips. Halloween was cancelled during World War II. Why? One of the main reasons was that sugar was being rationed, so candy was hard to come by. Before the term trick-or-treating became mainstream, what was the term used for going door to door asking for gifts and treats during All Souls' Day? Souling. Who brought the Halloween tradition to the United States? The Irish, during the potato famine in the mid-1800s. The word witch can be traced back to the word Wicca, which means what? Wise one. What does the color orange symbolize in Halloween traditions? The harvest and autumn season. What two countries popularized wearing costumes for Halloween? Scotland and Ireland. The first villain's scarecrow appeared when? In a 1941 Batman comic. What was the first recorded use of the phrase trick or treat in print? Canada, 1927, in an article written in the Blackie Herald, Alberta. Where did the real Ichabod Crane from the legend of Sleepy Hollow live? Staten Island, New York.
If brains were currency, you'd be bouncing checks.
Humans have been coating fruit in sugar syrups as a means of preservation for centuries. But when did caramel and candy apples start appearing for Halloween? The 1950s. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, what is another word for an ugly or grotesque sprite that is also mischievous? Goblin. From 1870s to the 1930s, New York City had a Thanksgiving ritual that resembled trick-or-treating, called what? Ragamuffin Day, where children dressed as beggars and went door to door for treats. The first recorded image of a witch on a broom was when? The earliest known image of witches on brooms dates to 1451, when two illustrations appeared in the French poet Martin Lefranc's manuscript Le Champion des Dames, the Defender of Ladies. Why was Halloween nearly cancelled as a holiday in the 1930s? Vandals and pranksters were causing millions of dollars worth of damage across US cities on Halloween night. What made trick-or-treating more popular? It evolved more in the 1930s as a way for homeowners to reward pranksters for not vandalizing their homes on Halloween, as per the previous question. The word bonfire originates from where and what? Coming from the Samhain tradition of a bonfire. To mark the end of summer, a bonfire would be made, on which bones and cuttings from crops were thrown on top, to ensure a good crop for the following year. What trend started in the USA in 1900, but died out by 1930 with the popularity of the home telephone? Sending Halloween postcards to loved ones. Perpetuated by mainstream media through the decades, what Halloween urban myth has never resulted in an actual case? Poison or razor blades in candy? Congratulations! You now know more about Halloween's creepy past than 98% of the candy-chomping public. But history's over. Let's move on to some facts. And that cold, terrifying math. I mean statistics, because apparently you humans will count anything, including how many candy corn pieces it takes to ruin a friendship. What is a group of witches called? A coven. What do you call a man who practices witchcraft? A warlock. A fear of Halloween is known as what? Sowinophobia. What US state produces the most pumpkins each year? Illinois. How many calories are in an average trick-or-treater's Halloween stash? About 11,000. Which US city is known as the witchcraft capital? Salem, Massachusetts. What is a fear of ghosts called? Phasmophobia. When was Trick or Treat for UNICEF founded? (1950). The record for the most lit jack-o'-lanterns displayed simultaneously is 30,581, set by which US city in 2013? Keene, New Hampshire. How much money does the average American spend on Halloween each year? It's estimated that most Americans spend $108.24 each year on Halloween. What was the first US city to have an official Halloween parade? Anoka, Minnesota. The record for the largest gathering of witches previously set in Spain was broken in 2022 where? 1,871 people in Pendleside Hospice in the UK. However, at the time of this video, there are 2 known attempts scheduled for 2025 in Romeo, Michigan and Sandusky, Ohio. How many pounds of candy corn are produced each year? A whopping 35 million pounds of candy corn is made every year, amounting to about 9 billion pieces. What percentage of Americans pretend not to be home when the doorbell rings on Halloween? A recent poll claims as many as 1 in 5, or approximately 21% of adults. What is a poltergeist? By definition, a poltergeist is a ghost or spirit that causes physical disturbances. In 2023, Travis Geinger nabbed the Guinness World Record for the heaviest pumpkin. How much did it weigh? £2,749. What is the most popular Halloween costume for pets? Pumpkins. In 2023, how much did pet owners in the USA spend on costumes for their pets? $700 million. In Rehoboth, Delaware, It's illegal to celebrate Halloween if what occurs? It lands on a Sunday, then you have to celebrate the day before the 31st. In Hollywood, California, possessing what on Halloween can potentially get you a $1,000 fine or 6 months in jail. Silly string. Where is Transylvania located? Romania. Repealed in 1950, Britain had a law on the books making it illegal to eat what on Halloween? The Witchcraft Act of 1735 made it illegal to eat pork pastries on Halloween. According to Guinness World Records, where can you find the world's largest permanent Ouija board? On the roof of the haunted Grand Midway Hotel, Windber, Pennsylvania. In what American state is it illegal to be a priest or nun for Halloween? Alabama. What's a mother name for a lycanthrope? A werewolf. Which First Lady was the first to decorate the White House for Halloween? Mamie Eisenhower in 1958. How many bones are in the average human skeleton? 206. When was candy corn invented? In the late 1880s by George Renninger while working for the Wonderlay Candy Company. The recipe was later sold to what would become the Jelly Belly Candy Company, and they use the original recipe even now. In which year will the next full moon on Halloween occur? (2039). Marine City, Michigan broke what world record in 2017? (1,064) broke the previous record of 1,060 for the most simultaneously carved pumpkins. There you have it. Proof that humans will track literally anything except their own common sense. Let's leave the world records and strange bylaws behind and wander into something even less rational. Ancient folklore. Time to summon the myths, monsters, and bedtime stories that never should have been told to children. Buckle up. Folklore's a freak show. According to superstition, a person born on Halloween has what particular ability? The ability to see and talk to spirits. What can you sprinkle in front of windows and doorways to help keep away evil spirits? Salt. What is the name of the Scottish spirit that preys on travellers at night? The Banshee. What ghost is said to haunt the White House? The ghost of Abraham Lincoln. The witching hour is generally believed to be when? Between 3 and 4 a.m. According to the Halloween myth, what happens if a bat flies around you or your home thrice on Halloween? Someone in the house will die. According to legend, what type of tree is a witch's broom made of? Either birch or hazelwood. Why should a person wear a costume on Halloween? To deceive evil spirits, a tradition that began hundreds of years ago. They wore masks and scary costumes, hoping that real ghosts would think the people were also ghosts. Where does the term jack-o'-lantern come from? From an old Irish folktale about a man called Stingy Jack, who made a deal with the devil. After making deals and tricking the devil, Jack was not allowed into heaven or hell. So the devil sent Jack off into the dark night with only a piece of burning coal, which he then placed in a hollowed-out turnip for light. First appearing in the 14th century during the Black Plague, the death harvester is more commonly known as what? The Grim Reaper. In Germany, it's a Halloween tradition to hide what? Hide all your knives. Leaving a light on in your house for 7 days is tradition in which country, as part of Selenwoche, or All Souls Week? Austria. Where did the phrase hocus pocus originate? Initially, it was a phrase used by magicians and performers to mimic religious incantations. In Britain in the 1800s, scrying was the tradition of doing what? Staring into a mirror in a dimly lit room, and eventually you will see the face of your future husband. What medieval English tradition inspired trick-or-treating? On All Souls' Day, the poor would go souling, knocking on doors and offering prayers for residents' deceased loved ones in exchange for food. What vegetable was once thought to have supernatural powers on Halloween? Cabbage. Why are black cats associated with Halloween and bad luck? The Puritans associated black cats with witchcraft, leading to the onyx-colored felines association with Halloween. In many other cultures, black cats are actually signs of good luck and are revered. Why do some people wear clothes inside out on Halloween? Some superstitions state that if you wear your clothes inside out and walk backward on Halloween, you'll see a witch at midnight. What are the names of the 2 ghost ships said to haunt the coast of North Carolina? The Queen Anne's Revenge and the Carol A. Deering. Whose ghost is said to haunt the Tower of London? Anne Boleyn. What did Scottish women used to hang to get a look at their future husbands on Halloween? Wet sheets in front of a bonfire. What nation's food might be the origin of trick-or-treating? Portugal's Pão de Deus, bread of God. This was originally given to kids and the poor as a treat when they went from house to house, singing and praying for the dead. How did early New Englanders protect their homes from evil spirits? By hiding their shoes in the walls. In old Scottish and Irish folklore, what name was given to ghostly sinners so evil they were rejected by both heaven and hell? The Sluach na Marav were the spirits of the unforgiven dead. An old forgotten ritual of a blindfolded participant and 3 plates, one with water, one with earth, and one with meal, foretold what? Placing a hand in the water meant a long life. A hand in the meal promised the attainment of wealth, but a hand in the earth signified death within the year. And that concludes your guided tour through humanity's most questionable bedtime stories. From soul-stealing cats to haunted vegetables, honestly, I've seen enough. Time for something even scarier. Halloween pop culture, where horror goes Hollywood and logic goes straight out the boarded-up window. Who is this handsome young fellow? The Crypt Keeper, who was the first person to play Frankenstein's monster in a feature film. Boris Karloff. What was the original proposed name for the Beetlejuice movie? Scared Sheetless. Who penned the 1962 song Monster Mash? Bobby Boris Pickett. Which famous Halloween movie features the line, "Do you like scary movies?" Scream. What are the names of the 3 sisters in the beloved Halloween movie Hocus Pocus? Winifred, Mary, and Sarah. According to a well-known song, which family is said to be creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky? The Addams Family. What is the name of the haunted hotel in The Shining? The Overlook Hotel. What apocalyptic 1978 zombie movie takes place in a mall? Dawn of the Dead. How many witches are in Shakespeare's Macbeth? 3. Who came first, Dracula or Nosferatu? Dracula. Bram Stoker's novel debuted him in 1897, while Nosferatu, an unauthorized adaptation of Stoker's work, was released as a silent film in 1922. What is the most commercially popular horror film of all time? It. Which horror film was based on the real-life experiences of the Lutz family in a haunted house? The Amityville Horror. Singer-songwriter Warren Zevon penned what popular Halloween song? Werewolves of London. Which horror movie is about a teenage girl with superpowers who becomes a villain? Carrie. Which famous magician died on Halloween? Harry Houdini. According to Rotten Tomatoes, what is the scariest horror movie of all time? The Exorcist. One particular serial killer inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and The Silence of the Lambs. Who was it? Ed Gein. Which actor played the infamous vampire in the 1931 film Dracula? Bela Lugosi. Who wrote the 1818 classic book Frankenstein? Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Wrapped in a silk scarf, Mary Shelley famously carried around what possession of her husband's after his death? His heart. The movie The Conjuring features a creepy possessed doll. What is her name? Annabelle. In The Nightmare Before Christmas, what is the Pumpkin King's name? Jack Skellington. Besides horror, in what other genre did Dracula author Bram Stoker publish books? Romance. Which 1994 horror movie co-stars Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst, and Tom Cruise? Interview with the Vampire. What movie serial killer notably wears a red and green striped sweater? Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. Which classic horror movie features the line, "They're here"? Poltergeist, 1982. In the very first Friday the 13th movie, who was the killer? Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mom. Repeatedly yelling at the screen, "I know this one," is not instilling confidence in anyone else that you should not be institutionalized. With a new Frankenstein movie coming out in 2025, how many movies have been made that feature or are spin-offs of the Frankenstein monster? At least 430. What year did Charles M. Schulz's classic Halloween TV special, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, first air? (1966). This horror film is considered the first slasher movie. What is the name of the film? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The line, "I see dead people," is from what movie? The Sixth Sense. Which 1845 Edgar Allan Poe poem famously references a talking blackbird that repeats the word "nevermore"? The Raven. What was the first horror movie to be nominated for an Academy Award? The Exorcist earned a whopping 10 Oscar nominations in 1974, including a Best Supporting Actress nod for then 15-year-old Linda Blair. What sort of mask does Michael Myers wear in the original Halloween? Because the movie had such a small budget, they had to use the cheapest mask they could find. It was a $2 William Shatner mask that they altered to make the eyes wider and spray-painted white. Well, that's a wrap. Whew. You've survived haunted houses, historical weirdness, data demons, folklore phantoms, and pop culture overload. If your brain's still functioning, you clearly deserve full-size candy bars and my reluctant respect. Thanks for playing, Earthlings. If you survived with your dignity intact, go ahead and like, subscribe, and ring the bell before a cursed VHS tape shows up on your doorstep. Until next time, keep it spooky, and a very happy Halloween to everyone. Melvin, out. Before you scuttle off to your earthly distractions, may I suggest indulging in one more of my mind-melting masterpieces? You're welcome.